Today, we're diving into the fascinating history of Citizenship by Investment Program, or CBI, schemes that let high net worth individuals secure a new passport through financial contributions to a country. From obscure Pacific islands to modern Caribbean powerhouses, CBIs have shaped global mobility for decades, offering everything from tax benefits to visa-free travel. We'll trace their evolution from the 1980s to the latest developments in 2025, packed with key milestones, quirky stories, and lessons for investors today. This is a wild ride through geopolitics, money, and passports, so let's get started. Our story begins in 1982 with Tonga, a tiny Polynesian kingdom. The local king there launched the world's first CBI program, initially selling Tongan protected person passports. By 1983, they upped the ante to full citizenship for 50 to 100K. A Hong Kong businessman convinced the king to market these to Chinese investors, raking in $20+ million. Early buyers included ousted Filipino dictator Ferdinand Marcos and his family. But the program hit a snag when the king's court jester blew the funds on risky life insurance trades for the terminally ill. By 1988, opposition repealed the CBI law, though sales limped on a little bit until 1996, supposedly issuing thousands of passports, mostly to Chinese nationals. In 1984, St. Kitts and Nevis, fresh off independence from Britain, launched its CBI, one of the longest running today. For a $150,000 donation or $400K in real estate, it offered visa-free access to the Commonwealth. For 20 years, it was sleepy, issuing just a few hundred passports, but it laid the groundwork for the Caribbean model we know today. Next up, in 1985, Belize entered the game with its Economic Citizenship Investment Program, priced at a bargain $40,000. Through the 1990s, it was the cheapest Caribbean CBI, attracting budget-conscious investors until U.S. security concerns post 9/11 shut it down in 2002. In 1987, the Marshall Islands quietly started selling citizenships for $100,000, though many went for less under the table. Aimed at Chinese nationals, it issued some 2,000 passports before U.S. pressure ended it in 1996, citing lax oversight. But still, that program was around for almost 9 years. Ireland joined in 1988, offering citizenship for €1 million or £1 million in investments tied to job creation. About 150 passports were issued, mostly to Middle Eastern and Asian investors, but political backlash involving Saudi and Pakistani deals closed it by 1998. Again, 10 years to the program. In 1991, we had Samoa, which was a program, but really more of a scandal. Officials sold some 2,000 passports, including diplomatic passports, for $11,000 on average. No formal structure, just cash for passports chaos. After media exposés, jailed officials, and a suspicious death, Samoa halted sales in 1997 after 6 years of the program. They tried again in 2017 with a formal CBI requiring 3 years residency, but it kind of flopped due to the high costs and strict rules. In 1992, Peru made history as South America's first CBI, targeting Hong Kong investors with $25,000 citizenship by investment. Strict screening led to just a couple dozen approvals before public outcry killed the program in 1993. Also in 93 was Dominica hitting the scene with its CBI program for a $50,000 donation. It stalled in the late 90s after failed projects and Canada revoking visa-free access, but the program later rebounded and is still a program today in 2025. Dominica is still on the scene, so they've been around in one form or another since 1993. And then you have Grenada in 1996, economic citizenship program for $40,000. It faced political heat and collapsed in 2021 after a story of an offshore bank failure as well as U.S. pressure over due diligence. Cambodia also launched in 1996, allowing $250,000 donations or investments for dual citizenship. The Cambodia program also continues today, though it's niche due to limited passport appeal and an unclear process. In 1998, we saw Nauru started selling economic citizenship for $15,000 to $50,000, mainly again to Chinese and Hong Kong clients via a DC-based agent, according to my notes. Nauru recently relaunched their program in 2025, so that program has a little bit of a history to it as well. Australia's protests and terrorist passport concerns led to its closure in 2003. Nauru, signed off by Nauru's president. The story is the president was dying in a New York hospital when he signed off on the closure of the program. But the program has since relaunched some 20 years later. In 2001, Comoros legalized CBI, selling close to 50,000 citizenships, primarily to the UAE and Kuwait, for their stateless residents between 2006 and 2011. The Comoros program ended in 2016. St. Kitts and Nevis reinvented the CBI game in 2006. Henley and Partners Christian Collin, the new quote-unquote passport king, revamped the St. Kitts program, streamlining approvals to 3 months. This model of donation or investment with robust due diligence became the Caribbean standard, copied by others. Cyprus broke ground in 2011 as the first EU CBI, demanding 2.5 million euros in real estate or business investment. Its Schengen access and settlement rights commanded premium prices, but the program ended in 2020 after a scandal involving officials bending rules for shady applicants. And to this day, they're still revoking some citizenships in Cyprus. I think I saw they have revoked over 300 passports in recent years due to impropriety. But that program was around, again, for about 9 years, which seems to be the average length for a lot of these programs. Grenada rebooted its CBI in 2013 with 150K donations, aligning with the St. Kitts model. Antigua and Barbuda followed also in 2013, offering 100K donation and visa-free Canada access, which they later lost. Both captured big market shares with competitive pricing. Malta, in 2014, launched the Individual Investor Program, endorsed by the EU and really set a gold standard. At 650,000 euros plus real estate, its 4-tier due diligence and extensive visa-free access made it elite. Henley and Partners' exclusive deal was very lucrative for them before Malta ended the contract. Malta has since closed their program in 2025, or sort of morphed it into a citizenship by merit program, which we've also talked about on the channel. But this program lasted a good 10-11 years as direct citizenship by investment. Vanuatu formalized its CBI in 2014, same year as Malta, with a capital investment immigration plan. evolving into today's 130K donation-based program. They lost Schengen, but it's a fast track option competing with Nauru. So it's been around a good amount of time, over 10 years of Vanuatu citizenship, and they're still doing a good job of offering citizenship very quickly, often in less than 2 months. St. Lucia joined in 2016 with a 100K donation or 300K in real estate, adding a unique 200K government bond option. Turkey also launched in 2016, slashing its real estate threshold from 1 million to 250K in 2018, making it the world's most popular CBI with thousands of annual approvals. Jordan launched in 2018 their CBI at $1 million. And it defied skeptics with over 100 applications to the program despite no Schengen access, and the Jordan program still exists today. Moldova had a short-lived program also in 2018. It was 100,000 euros. Montenegro also had a short-lived program at 350,000 euros, also in 2018. Moldova closed in 2019 under EU pressure, and Montenegro shuttered in 2022 to boost EU membership chances. Egypt joined the game in 2020 with their CBI program, which requires a $250,000 real estate investment. In 2025, the program is still going strong, so Egypt has been in the game for about 5 years and at a fraction of the cost compared to their neighbor over in Jordan with their $1 million program. So the Egypt program, for a lot of people, is going to be the more attractive of the two. You may have heard of North Macedonia's donation program. In 2021, they had a 200K donation program, which was formalized after a discretionary start. But apparently they're yet to even approve anyone, and this program is considered defunct by agents. In 2023, El Salvador launched the Freedom Visa, a 1 million fiat or crypto investment for citizenship. In 2025, the program is still around, offering $1 million citizenship in El Salvador, and people are doing it. They also defied the skeptics who thought that people wouldn't be interested, but for the crypto native crowd, El Salvador citizenship is a pretty cool option. In 2024, Nauru surprised the market by relaunching their citizenship by investment program, developed in partnership with Henley and Partners, and it's essentially rivaling Vanuatu for island state seekers. The donation is in the same range, that 100, 120, 130, 140 range for the investment option. Obviously depends on your family size. Sierra Leone followed in January 2025, offering 90-day naturalization for a $140,000 investment or $100,000 for Sierra Leonean descendants, or I think anyone with African heritage, it's 100K. And then if you don't have African heritage, it's 140K, which is a pretty interesting, unprecedented approach to citizenship. And that program is one of the newest to hit the scene until in August 2025, we have now the Sao Tome and Principe program, the new cheapest CBI at a $90,000 investment. And it's also the first in a Portuguese-speaking country. It's an interesting program because it has access to the CPLP countries and a half-decent passport. You don't have EU access, but it can fill in some visa-free travel for a lot of people. The next program that's supposed to launch this year, they've been hinting at it. I guess in a way they've sort of launched it or soft launched it, but it's the Argentina $500,000 citizenship by investment. The understanding is it's not going to be an investment, it's not going to be a donation, but rather an investment in the country. It remains to be seen what that's going to look like, whether it's going to be residential real estate or bonds or stocks or business investment. But Argentina is expected to officially launch their program in Q4 of 2025. So maybe I'll mention some notable exclusions as well. Bangladesh on paper has a program of about $500K to $2 million investment for citizenship, but it's very unclear. Seychelles offers a $1 million CBI but requires 11 years residency, disqualifying it as a true CBI. Cabo Verde has been rumored to have a program, but it's not formalized. And actually, some friends of MyLatinLife, they've gone to Cabo Verde to try to reinvigorate or restart the program, and it's just not happening quite yet. So a lot of people are thinking Cabo Verde might happen in the future. They're probably waiting and seeing how things go with Sao Tome, and then they'll probably respond, in relation to how St. Tome is received by the market. Another one is Pakistan, which supposedly has an $18,000 citizenship by investment program, but nobody seems to have been able to do it before. But what's the big picture with CBIs? It kind of started as cash grabs in small nations like Tonga, and there was a lot of scandals in the early days, but the Caribbean really refined the model with the St. Kitts approach, their relaunch, balancing affordability with strong due diligence and interfacing with counterparts in the EU and the US to keep them happy. The EU programs were a big development as well, with Malta and Cyprus raising the stakes with premium access and, of course, some political pushback, but they have been around for a long time, and Malta is still around today in a way. So the EU has been a big part of the history of the citizenship by investment community. Today, you have somewhere between 13 and 20 active programs, depending on how you count it. You have St. Kitts, Dominica, Grenada, Antigua, St. Lucia, Vanuatu, Turkey, Jordan, Cambodia, Egypt, Pakistan, Samoa, Sao Tome, Nauru, soon Argentina, El Salvador, and more, offering options from as low as $90K in Sao Tome to $1 million plus. Passports vary in strength. Malta is one of the best passports in the world. Sao Tome, not so much. So you're really seeing CBI being adopted by countries all across the spectrum in terms of visa-free access and passport strength, from Tier A to Tier B to Tier C passports. You also see a bit of a trend with a lot of Commonwealth countries that are in the game. All the Caribbean countries are pretty much Commonwealth. Pakistan is Commonwealth. Maybe a few more if I think about it. Vanuatu, I think, is Commonwealth. So that's another theme, how the Commonwealth countries and the former British colonies are pretty big innovators, not just in citizenship by investment, but also with trusts and offshore and non-domicile and tax havens and a lot of these things, right? When you think about the Bahamas and, the BVI and the Caymans and the Isle of Man and Jersey and all this kind of thing. So for investors, CBI means mobility, tax planning, Plan B, security. It can mean greater options in life for your family. Caribbean options are some of the leaders in the market for their cost, speed, and reliability and time in market. St. Kitts has been around for 40 years at this point. Turkey is very popular, is very high volume as well. It's a real country, quote unquote. It's not an island. It's a country that has strong diplomatic ties all over the world. So Turkey is definitely one of the most popular. New players like Sao Tome signal innovation. But political risks call with us and be speaking with us right away. And if you enjoyed the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.